It was 10 years. The amount of time Estelle tried to die for him. Estelle von Reston was severely educated to become the crown princess of the empire. Liberal arts classes in politics, history, military studies, as well as all kinds of arts and literature. And even more difficult and esoteric court manners than mathematical formulas. I couldn't play or rest like other kids. I only studied. It was harsh enough, but Estelle endured everything and tried not to die. Everything was for the little boy I first met on my 10th birthday. It was the blue moonlight, a treasure of the imperial family received by the Empress of the Rastial Empire. It was a sign of an engagement to the royal family. On that day, Estelle officially became the prince's fiancée. How happy I was at that moment. The moment he hung the blue jewel around her neck, Estelle gained her purpose in life. Another 10 years passed like that. Estelle, as the preliminary crown princess, continued to strive to become empress. Since the empress had passed away early, she went to the imperial palace without the empress in her spare time to study. I also fulfilled my responsibilities as an empress. Everything was good until then. As the seasons beyond the study window changed countless times, the relationship between the two also changed little by little. One day, ominous rumors began to hover around the mansion, as the cold wind swept away the panoramic view of spring. The story of the crown prince wanting to break up with Estelle spread slowly around like a damp fog. Estelle's father, Duke von Reston, hastened their marriage to dispel rumors. At the request of the Duke, who was the Emperor's closest aide and friend, the two finally officially became a married couple. The first night after the wedding, the prince asked for the understanding that he did not want to have children right away. And to Estelle, it felt like a kind consideration. We're still young and the Emperor is still here, so we have plenty of time. I want to have a child slowly after you adjust to the imperial palace. Estelle was rather grateful to Kaizen. It would have been more difficult to have children as soon as I became the crown princess. However, as long as the wedding took place, the first night had to be held. I'm fine. Then, for the time being, I will take medicine. If you don't spend the first night together, people will misunderstand. Meow.novel.com is updating your favorite novel. So Estelle convinced Kaizen that she would take the pill. Kaizen said after agonizing for a while. No. I don't want to burden you. Kaizen asked Estelle for consent and took the pill himself. Kaizen treated the nervous Estelle dearly and courteously from beginning to end. Estelle was happy. Although it was only a political marriage, we will respect each other and live as a couple for a lifetime. Estelle believed so. However, that dream was short-lived. Please divorce me. That afternoon, Kaizen, who became emperor, told Estelle, who became the empress, his demands. This marriage was what my late father wanted. I didn't want to marry you for a single moment. So you'd better clean up without further delay. It was an extremely concise and indifferent glance, as if he was clearing up the remains of his deceased father. You never loved me anyway, right? At that moment, Estelle thought of the necklace that was hanging around her neck. After meeting Kaizen for the first time at the age of 10, she never took off the necklace he gave her. The formal letters exchanged while waiting for him to come back from war, I remember every word and sentence we exchanged lightly at banquets. You can read this novel at meow.novel.com for better experience. It was time to face the sad reality. It was all memorable for her, but not for the man in front of her. Now I can fully understand Kaizen's intention to have the child slowly last night, as if he were considerate of her. He had planned to abandon Estelle from the start. It was the moment when everything I had believed in for 10 years broke. Looking at his cold red eyes, which had not a speck of affection, Estelle decided to tell the lie that he wanted. For the man who was the reason for her life until she was 20, but only a husband for a day. Yes, it is right. I didn't love you. That's how the one-day empress life of Estelle, made the record for being the shortest empress in history, ended. As soon as the new emperor was crowned, the empress was expelled. It was something that caused a great stir in the empire. Originally, the royal family could not divorce easily. If one side opposes the divorce, they will be taken to court and face a lengthy legal battle. Even so, most divorces do not happen. Once they've exchanged their wedding vows, even an emperor cannot break a sacred marriage without the consent of both parties. But Estelle's divorce ended unexpectedly and simply. This is because Estelle, the party concerned, agreed to divorce without a hitch. Yes, I want a divorce too. The new emperor wanted a divorce as soon as he ascended to the throne, but the empress agreed, so there was no justification to oppose it. Her father and other great noblemen were stunned, but Estelle took off the empress crown without any hesitation. After becoming the empress, everything would have been easy. I worked hard, practiced, and prepared for such a long time to become the empress. When she left the empress position, all she had left was comfort and relief. You're no longer my daughter, he said, for throwing away the queen's seat without even fighting. Get out of my house right now. The woman was disowned at the door for allowing such an easy divorce. An attendant from the imperial palace came to send money for living, but Estelle refused. And she left the capital. I bought a small house near a forest by using the money I had collected and selling the jewelry I had since I was young. I was thinking of spending the rest of my life quietly there. I thought that if I could sell embroidery or paintings, I would be able to make enough money for living expenses. Time passed by quietly and peacefully until a few days later, I heard shocking words from a nearby pharmacist. Well, I think you are pregnant? The sound of footsteps came downstairs. The ominous sound of stepping on the cold stone floor was approaching quickly. Estelle rushed to the closet and found a wooden closet that was roughly attached to a damp stone wall. She opened the door and ran through the roughly packed parcels to find a small bottle of medicine. It's been 2 months since I've been on the run. For the past week, Estelle has been on the second floor of this small bakery. During the day, I made bread or helped with chores at the store downstairs, and at night I slept with my child in a small room on the second floor. It was a difficult life, but I couldn't do anything about it running on a tight budget. Still, this place wasn't bad compared to other places. The owner of the store was good, and because it was a small rural village, there were not many people. Except for the bed, it was the only piece of furniture in the room. She opened the door and ran through the roughly packed parcels to find a small bottle of medicine. It's been 2 months since I've been on the run. For the past week, Estelle has been on the second floor of this small bakery. During the day, I made bread or helped with chores at the store downstairs, and at night I slept with my child in a small room on the second floor. It was a difficult life, but I couldn't do anything about it running on a tight budget. Still, this place wasn't bad compared to other places. The owner of the store was good, and because it was a small rural village, there were not many people. Estelle went to bed and shook the child buried under the old quilt to wake him up. There. The dark-haired child lying in the bed slowly got up and opened his eyes. Dark red pupils were revealed in the delicate eyes. Please, I prayed you didn't have his eyes. However, the child was born to resemble his father's dark hair and red eyes. Still, there was a lovely child. The little face was cute like a doll. After waking up, the child rubbed his eyes with a small hand. Estelle held the child's soft white cheeks affectionately in both hands and said, looking at his eyes, "There, do you remember what Mom said?" The child tilted his head and blinked his sleepy eyes. Ooh, a play? Yes. Fortunately, Estelle's child there was smart for his age and understood well. Ever since the child learned to speak, and was able to understand the word play, Estelle has been practicing with the child for things like this. Estelle raised the child's head and opened the medicine bottle she found in the closet. Then, she dropped each drop into the eyes of the child, who she gently lifted the face of. Latest update on meownovel.com. As Thor blinked, his blood-red eyes gradually turned blue as if paint was spreading. Thank you for your patience. Looking at his blue eyes, Estelle hugged the child and kissed his forehead. The skin that touched her lips smelled like soft milk. Bang bang. At that moment, there was a knock outside, as if to break the door. Estelle hurriedly hid the medicine bottle in her arms. The door was ripped off with a bang before she could even go out and open it. Knights dressed in military uniforms of the Imperial Army entered through the ragged door. Lady Estelle? The man who seemed to have the highest position among the knights approached Estelle. He held the child in his arms and spoke in a concise manner to Estelle, who was standing by the bedside. Your Majesty, the Emperor is looking for you.